Hi, welcome back to the Car Chat podcast. And on this episode today, I thought I would run through just some information that I think is possibly a common misconception or just a reality of the situation. So the topic I wanted to just sort of do a little solo podcast on is how difficult it is to get a GT3. Now, the new 992 GT3, bit of a hot topic, hot item at the moment. And I posted on my social media that I'd quite like to have one. I personally would love a touring, I think, which is sort of interesting that the McLaren, Artura, came out this week as well. And comparing those two cars, okay, quite a different price point. Porsche is going to be £140, something like that. I think spec'd up-ish, how I'd want it, something like that. And your McLaren's probably 200, so quite different. But as a daily proposition, not a daily proposition, as a road-going proposition, for me, the idea of naturally aspirated engine, 3 pedals, revs to 9, that is just massively appealing. And coming with all of these sort of things you can do, like chuck luggage in the back and all that sort of stuff. Although a couple of friends we were looking at, I saw my first 992 Turbo S the other day on the street and I thought it looked pretty badass. And we were talking about it and we were saying how sick would it be if you could get a 99 Turbo-esque car. So the turbos are generally designed to be a little bit more comfortable than your GT cars, but with the powertrain from a GT3. So kind of the understated look, or slightly more understated look, but with that naturally aspirated engine and 3 pedals, that would be the sickest one with back seats. I think the number of people that would love back seats in a GT3 is actually quite significant. Anyway, what I did is I've bought a couple of Porsches over the years, not tons, definitely not. I've dealt with one dealership for a very long time and they service my cars and stuff like that. But I rang them up and the process they said, okay, you just need to send us like a letter of intent. So you can either send us a letter or you can send us an email, just say, I would like a car and we'll let you know in the future. So I did that. And then I spoke to some other dealerships. I thought, let's call around the country a little bit and see what the situation is. And I sort of went for a bit more of a, okay, can you just tell me, like, am I going to get one? Am I not going to get one? And one of them was like, look, honestly, you're just not going to get one. Like, you would be a new customer and we've got loads of people that want them. It's not going to happen. And then I spoke to another dealership that I've dealt with as well. And I said, come on, just talk to me. Like, what's the reality here? What are we looking at? And he said, well, we've had 120-ish letters of intent so far. So the car came out on Tuesday, and it was Thursday, I think, when I spoke to him. And we think we're going to get 15 cars in total over 2 years. They're going to be split this time between you're specifically going to have a touring allocation and specifically going to have a wing allocation. But it was something like 15 cars over the 2 years of production. And we have 120 people that want them. So we've narrowed down to a list of 30. And to put in perspective of where you might sit in this list, the person at the top of the list has spent £1 million with our dealership since January 2020, or since lockdown 1. So like March, that sort of time in 2020. Someone has spent £1 million in a Porsche dealership in pretty much a year. I was like, what? Who does that? Who spends that amount of money on some cars? And he said, yeah, he'd bought a couple of 992 Turbo S's and some other stuff and all this sort of thing. One for him, one for his business partner or something, or a couple of business partners. So I'm guessing maybe this guy he's obviously doing very, very, very well and maybe closed a big deal or something and wants to celebrate. But yeah, that's your top of the list. So I'm like, okay. And then the number 30 had spent a couple of $100,000, like $400,000 or something like that over 2 years maybe with the dealership. And I think it's very easy to get annoyed at the people at the dealership for not giving you a car or that sort of situation. But the reality is they don't get many cars and they have to decide somehow. And I can't have too much resentment towards someone that turns around and says, well, look, we've got 150 people that want it. And if we try and stack them up in terms of how good a Porsche customer they are for the business, we have to rank them somehow. And yours would be near the bottom. And that's where it is. And it's a really interesting one. I think a lot of people are surprised that I can't get one, or haven't been able to get one in the past. I don't know. I might through a dealership this time, but I think it's somewhat unlikely. I know a couple of people that have played the game and they had specific cars they really wanted to get, and they ended up buying a bunch of cars to get those cars. And talking to them about it like a year later, they said, okay, actually next time round, I'm just going to pay over on the car. I'm not going to play this game. I'm only going to buy cars I want to buy. I'm not going to buy cars that, just to tick a box, because circumstances change. There's always a bigger fish, apparently. There might be someone who's just spent £1 million, and that's sort of where you're at. No, it's a very interesting one. And I think ultimately these cars, if you really want them, it would be amazing to be able to get them for a list price, that opportunity. But for me, I think going forwards, I'll basically have to decide, am I comfortable paying the price that they cost after 1 month, 6 months, a year, 2 years? And if I'm not comfortable paying that price, that's where I'm going to be. I'm not going to try and jump through any hoops. But it was nice to know, it was good to know that, no, I shouldn't even remotely suggest, okay, I'll buy this GTS off you if I can have a GT3, because it just would never pan out. But I thought it was sort of some interesting information that you guys might like. If any of you guys have got stories, it would be great to hear them. You can either comment on the YouTube, that's quite a good way, or comment on my next Instagram post or anything like that. So you can follow me on @SamWarsPhoto, and I'll see you for an interview very soon.